Now, I think the ball is in the governments and the other actors, especially banks, court, to continue their reforms, to repair their balance sheets so that they can actually support, especially banks now, support the recovery. The LTRO has created this situation where certainly these efforts can be undertaken, but certainly neither governments nor banks nor the other key actors ought to be complacent. On the other issue is let me say one thing, which actually is the thing that I say all the times. I think we all, when I say we, I mean the Governing Council, we all have to do the right things, and we have to do them together. So let me first, incidentally, say that my personal and professional relationship with Jens is excellent. So that's one thing I want to say. I want also to add that nobody, contrary to what some journals, some newspapers, some magazines have said, nobody is isolated in the Governing Council. And especially the Bundesbank is not isolated. And there are several reasons, besides being a very, very important central bank, but also I had many opportunities to say that I really cherish the culture and the tradition of the Bundesbank of maintaining price stability. I think we all collectively owe a lot of what we learned about this stability culture to the Bundesbank and to Germany. But now, I mean, we are all custodians of stability. There isn't one specific custodian of the stability culture. We are all sharing the same view, the same, in a sense, ideals. So I think that ought to be kept in mind. The other thing that is really related to the letter, I don't. By the way, incidentally, I don't think that Jens himself. I have no. I have certainty that it was not him. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, the substance of the content and the content of that letter is present in all our minds. The possible risks of our monetary policy, the I would say mostly communication complications created by the use of additional credit claims, and the target 2 balances as well. We always say that it's normal in a monetary area to have target 2 balances. We've said that it's within the treaty that these balances are a normal product, especially when interbank markets don't function. But it's also true that these target 2 balances reveal structural differences and structural weaknesses in some parts, in some areas in some parts of the euro area, and therefore it's not something that can be discarded. We ought to think about. We ought to reflect on them. And I think again with this we completely share these views. Finally, let me say one thing. We are all in the same boat. And I think that there's nothing to gain to fight or to argue publicly outside the Governing Council. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the second rank. Joanna Trick, second rank, yeah, please. And then after your neighbor, yeah.
Joanna Trick, Market News. Last month you said that you didn't even discuss interest rates at your monetary policy meeting. Did you discuss them this month? A second question is based on the latest information that you might have. How confident are you that the Greek PSI will be a success? And then perhaps in Mexico you said that you have a special bank lending survey to assess the impact of the first LTRO. Could you perhaps tell us what the results were and whether you're actually intending to publish that survey? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, we didn't discuss interest rate changes. That's the first answer. The second question was?
PSI.
Oh, the PSI. Well, here, the operation is it's actually unfolding exactly at this present time, so it would be completely inappropriate for me to make any comment on that. And the third is that, what did I say in Mexico? That we have a bank lending survey assessing the impact. Yeah. Well, we have now. This is an ad hoc bank lending survey. We don't foresee immediate publication of this. It's for internal use, but certainly shows that from the very, very negative trends in credit and money that we had in the last 3-4 months of last year, let's not forget, for the first time in history, on the history of the euro, M3 has declined in absolute level for 3 consecutive months. And the volume of loans to the private sector, the non-financial corporation, also declined for 2 consecutive months. So from this ad hoc lending survey shows that there has been a modest pickup in credit and in bank lending since the first LTRO.
Okay, your neighbour, could you present yourself, please?
Tony Connolly from Irish Television. 2 questions relating to the same subject. Did the Governing Council discuss the issue of a possible restructuring of the Anglo-Irish Bank promissory notes? And second question, do you think that such a restructuring or any kind of concession on the promissory notes would help Ireland to return to the bond markets next year as planned, and would also perhaps help the Irish government in its quest to pass the referendum on the fiscal compact? Thank you.
I will answer to the last point, really. I really am confident that the referendum will pass and the fiscal compact will be approved. And I have this confidence because the government effort and the government, in a sense, performance in Ireland has been really very, very serious. Ireland is probably one of the program countries that made most progress under conditions that were certainly very harsh, and in spite of that, it really delivered. Now we also are aware that there are certain fragilities that need to be taken care of, and I'm confident. But as I said, the past experience, in a sense, is reassuring in terms of delivery. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to third rank.
We didn't discuss it yet. No, it's under exam, it's under study, but it was not part of the discussions of the Governing Council. Thank you.
Okay, the third rank, please. Brian Blackstone, your neighbour, and Eva Kunin.
Brian Blackstone with the Wall Street Journal. Could you give us, on the topic of growth, you mentioned that you expect a gradual recovery through the course of this year. Can you give us a sense of where the ECB sees the sources of this growth coming from? If you look at austerity, higher oil prices, rising unemployment, none of these things seem to bode well for a recovering economy. Can you give us a sense of how you all assess where this growth is going to come from? And secondly, back to the letter and the issue with the Bundesbank, one thing it seems to raise is the fact that these debates within the ECB aren't really put out in any kind of way, like meeting minutes or vote counts. Would you consider, now that you're the ECB president, to maybe make some way that these internal debates, even without naming names, are public so that they don't create such a drama when they see the light of the public? Thank you.
Okay. Well, before I answer your 2 questions, let me say that I always read what you write very carefully. And you wrote a piece on the risks that are in the ECB balance sheet because of the LTRO. And you compare the size of this balance sheet now, it's 3.5 trillion or something, to the GDP. and you conclude that the expansion is bigger in the euro area than it is in the US or in the UK. Now, and this has, I'm coping with this now because I've seen this in other parts, but